It is, it's 9:30 and the Board of Commissioners is meeting on October the 17th. I'm Daryl Banks, Commissioner.
Sorry, it's the 24th.
24th,
Yep, agenda's wrong.
okay,
That's my fault.
okay. Well, it is the 24th. And I'm Commissioner Daryl Banks along with Tony Vero, Commissioner, Stacy Crawler, our clerk, Andrew Keller, our administrator, David Morgenstern is here. And Sherry, what you got new people here? Why don't you introduce your new people to us?
Have Jared Jakubic just started probably a couple weeks ago. And we're starting to get him into public safety. Authentication, and I figured.
And so in addition, we have Nate with us today and from risk management, Jenny Phelps.
My name.
Jenny Phelps.
It's
So first thing on the board today is to bring up Corsa Security rebate opportunity. So take it away.
okay. Well, Corsa's reinsurance carriers in Corsa are obviously very interested in cybersecurity and protecting us. So they've offered an incentive if we take additional.
Excuse me one second.
Sure.
From the media, we have Greg Kale here. Online, we have Al Lawrence from the News Journal and Carl Hunnell from Richland Source.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Corsa has offered a rebate if we add additional protections to our cybersecurity. We've been with county IT here and talked about what all they've already done, what all you plan to do, what all was budgeted for next year, and we would like to see happen this year instead, as well as juvenile court and adult court. And so we're asking for additional funds to be able to move everybody to have additional cybersecurity. And there is a rebate to that, but it is a big ask.
Hey, would you like to expand?
Sure. So what we're asking for is 2FA exactly. That is two-factor authentication. So a good password is two of the following: something you know, something you are, and something you have. Something you know is our password that every user who falls under county IT has their own unique password, right? Well, now we are wanting to roll out 2FA countywide with a hardware token that has a 6-digit code on it that changes every 30 seconds. And that hardware token is unique to that user. So that is something that you have. So something you know and something that you have. Right now, all of my public safety users have that. They have to for LEADS, the Law Enforcement Automated Data System, through the state of Ohio and through the FBI. So that was kind of half of my battle right there, trying to roll that out for my entire public safety users. And now we are looking to implement that countywide.
You're saying my code shouldn't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So in addition to having to put in my 28-letter code,
28, it seems like 50.
Just 20.
well, when I have to start over and do it again, it's 28 anyhow.
Okay.
And so in addition to that, I have this little device
Correct.
that's going to changing, and then I have to put in how many digit code?
It's just a 6-digit code.
Oh, only.
Only 6 digits.
So we are.
Remember them, right?
Correct. It changes every 30 seconds. So you do not have to remember those codes. But really all 2FA does, I mean, no network is 100% foolproof of being hacked by some actor out there, right? So 2FA accounts for hackers already being on our network. And 2FA, it prevents that hacker from moving around in county IT's network, and it will keep that hacker isolated to that one server or that one workstation. That's the whole point of 2FA.
And then am I right, if somebody tries to access, say, your laptop right here and you've locked it, they wouldn't be able to
So what's
access
the rebate?
$11 per person.
That comes to what then? You said there's a rebate, so what's that come to?
Well, the total reimbursement is going to be a little over 5,000. However, we've already done some, so it will be more than that.
So, you know, you always got to speak IT language. So that what they tell you is you got about a $4,000 rebate, but you have to spend about $54,000 to get $4,000.
No, we're asking for 30, sorry.
I see.
We're asking for 38,880 and the reimbursement is 5,005.
What am I missing? It says the grand total is 54.
So you're looking at the CDW quote, Tony. That is for county IT that, so really 2FA countywide. County IT, we have been wanting to do this for a while and we got it on our budget for next year and a project listed as next year. Jenny asked me about it. I thought this would be perfect timing anyway. If we can get that rebate for
Asking for
2023.
around 38 and we're getting about 4 back.
It's,
We already have some users on it at the sheriff's department.
but we've spent that money this year, so we're gonna ask for a rebate on the money for this year. It's something that we were,
It is 5,000.
yeah,
So we're gonna spend another 33 grand.
yes, on something that we
If
are
you want.
intending to spend over time anyway. We're just condensing it.
Motion to approve out of capital projects.
Second,
So what am I, am I approving the CDW 54 and the 38?
So that CDW quote is only for county IT. This is what we would pursue in 2024 when we go to renew for county IT users in September. That is the full 12-year price, just so we all know what it would be for 600 users who fall under county IT.
12 months.
Yes, a 12-month period. But then Jenny gave you a breakdown for all users who fall under county IT, juvenile and adult courts. Which of course, juvenile and adult courts do not fall under county IT. So those user counts would not fall under county IT.
So that's my next question is if we approve this, how do you want to disperse that money? Does it come to one of us and we give it to them once they implement or?
Are you asking about the courts?
Mhm.
Carol, you want to answer that?
For juvenile and adult. And then the same goes for the rebates is how, wherever we take that money from, it makes sense to put the money back there.
think we ought to negotiate with them and get a little more cooperation. We could do that.
Daryl will be happy to work with you in the courts on that.
Okay. Andrew Kraft and Mike Maxwell are on board. So we can have discussions with them. Whatever you think is appropriate.
Excellent.
So I'm sorry, I'm still confused on how much you're moving to pay out of the reinvestment fund.
Jenny, what's the total amount right now?
38,880 and 55 cents.
But you still need your 54.
So that's for next year. If this does not get approved, this is what county IT would roughly be asking for in 2024 to complete our portion of 2FA.
And that is without rebate back.
Correct.
So you're not asking for that next year.
Not the full
Uh,
portion.
Not that full portion, no, but we will be asking for we in September of next year, we will be asking to renew it.
It's the 38 today.
Correct.
Like true IT request, Daryl, there's always another piece to it,
Yeah.
but they're not asking right now.
That's in September of next year.
It's plenty of time for you to forget about this.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Thank you.
Greg has questions.
Sounds good.
Now, Nate, if you can just explain, I guess, the variety of information that would be considered secure, like there's juvenile court records, there's LA court records. So is that why there's the need for this?
I mean, dealing with local government, I mean, we are very blessed to have our funding that we have, but sadly, governments that are local here, usually don't see this kind of funding to take cyber operations in a serious manner, right? So not only do we have court data, but we also have finance data for the entire county and also public safety data. So those are our three concerns when it comes to county IT, and making sure that that data does not get compromised by some hacker out there who wants to steal or take that data for ransom. Did I answer your question?
That works.
Perfect.
Carl, you have any questions?
Oh, I got a lot of questions, Gerald. Thank you. Nate, could you spell your last name for me and what's your title there?
Sure, I am in Richland County IT in the auditor's office, and my last name is McVicker, McVicar.
Okay. And if I understand this right, what you just got from the commissioners was $38,880.55 in a bid for CDW.
So this is not a bid, it is through CDW, but we are using state of Ohio contract pricing for it.
And that contract is with CDW?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And next year, when you said you're going to ask commissioners to renew it, is that something, another 38,880.55? And is that something, commissioners, that's going to be budgeted for next year? Or are you looking to pay that again out of capital improvements?
So county IT, we are going to ask for it in our 2024 county IT budget to renew for 600 licenses. Right now, I only need 184 licenses to go. But for next year in September, when we go to renew, hopefully we will get the $54,583.28 to renew it in September of next year. But also keep in mind that number does not include any discounts that we would get through that contract pricing.
Okay, and the rebate that you're going to be receiving from Corsa, is that an annual rebate of $5,000 or is that a one-time thing?
Right now, it seems to be a one-time thing. We'll see if they come through next year.
Carl, you knew the answer to that question. There's no way we were gonna get a rebate every year because then it would have paid for the project.
Well, Mr. Vero, I'm afraid I get paid a lot of money to ask these vital questions, so please bear with me if you would. How many, this is a project, Nate and Jenny, that you guys have started already. At what point, I mean, this is something you'd already started. So where are you in the process and why now at this time come and ask for money from capital improvements?
So actually, for many years, it has been mandated by the state of Ohio for all public safety users to be LEADS compliance, LEADS. That is the Law Enforcement Automated Data Solution. That essentially is our gateway to critical public safety data throughout the entire US, right? So as part of being on that network, we have to have 2FA for all of the public safety users who have access to such LEADS data. Jenny brought this to my attention where Corsa is offering cash back for it, essentially. So that's why we are pursuing to take it countywide for county IT, especially. That has been on our radar to get that project done here for a year or two now. And if we can't do it now, we will ask for it, next year. I guess we are doing it now. It has been approved. So we're doing it.
All right. And how many, you said you have 600 licenses for next year. Is that the number of county employees or what's the thought process with 600 licenses?
So that will also give me about 50 spares, 50 of those hardware token spares. And that also will cover all of the county end users who fall under county IT within some capacity.
Okay. And Daryl, as someone who has struggled with 2FA for a couple of years now, good luck. Don't listen to them when they say that you're not supposed to write things down, because if you don't write them down, you're never going to remember them. And good luck going forward. But thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Just one more quick question.
Sure.
These tokens, is there like a shelf life for them or is this like?
Lifetime. And if the battery fails, then I'll just get a new one because it's all part of our contract with CW. So, yep.
Al, you have any questions? I assume not. And by the way, Carl, I don't have any trouble remembering this 20-digit thing. I have to get in there so often I can remember this.
And it's just Nate McVicker drives me crazy. Exclamation point one,
Honestly, if that
five,
works,
6, 7.
that's awesome, but please don't tell your password to anyone, especially the public, Tony.
I got that down, Tony. Thank you.
With my 2FA, you won't be able to get in, Carl.
Haven't yet.
You have to find his token.
Oh, my goodness.
Al does have questions.
Al, I'm sorry. Al, go right ahead.
Sorry, I had a hard time getting my touch screen to work. I'm showing my ignorance on internet stuff. What's 2FA?
Sure. So 2FA stands for two-factor authentication. It's part of a good, strong password where all county end users, our goal is to have them use their actual password and then a 6-digit code that changes every 30 seconds on a hardware token that will go on their key fob probably. And that 6-digit code changes every 30 seconds. And that
Okay,
token is also unique to that end user.
okay. Somehow, now I remember hearing you explain it, but it just, it gelled now. CDW, remind me what that is?
That is just a reseller that we use for many of our IT products that we have. They also have state of Ohio contract pricing, so we do not have to put this out for bid.
That's the name of the company, CDW?
Yep, CDWG. I'm not sure if that stands for something or government. I don't know what CDW stands for.
Okay, do you know where they're out of?
Oh, is it Chicago, Sherry? Chicago? If you Google it, I mean,
Okay,
Googling it here. Headquartered in Vernon Hills, Illinois. And their website is just cdwg.com.
okay. So this is the company you use. The county doesn't have a contract with them.
Correct, but they use state of Ohio contract pricing.
Okay. Think that's all I need then. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Jenny?
I'll get with you and we'll talk about where to put the funds and how and when to pull those. That work?
Sure.
Okay, then no, thank you both very much.
Yes, thank you both. We appreciate it.
Jacobic, welcome to the Michelin County.
This is his first big project. Two-factor authentication.
They knew there was going to be some resistance to this, so they give it to the new guy.
Jobs must be hard to come by for college graduates if you want to work with McVicker and Hills.
That's low. Low, T-Dog.
Apologize to Hill later.
Sure. Thank you both.
All right, guys, see ya.
Okay, let's do some other. Can we get a motion to approve the record of proceedings for October 19th?
So move.
Second,
Commissioner Banks,
Yeah. Yes.
and can we approve the requisitions?
So moved.
Second,
Commissioner Banks,
yes.
Farrell,
Yes.
Okay. And then we have to authorize the recorder's application for procurement cards.
I just have a question on that, Stacy. Do we need to set limits now on that? I noticed that wasn't filled in on the,
the limits that are on there are standard, so they only fill in if they want a different amount.
motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow.
Yes.
Okay, can we approve the OFU's mobile mammogram screen agreement?
There for 2 days. This is a very good function and service, so I will definitely make the motion to approve that.
Second, all of that.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Okay, now, the county engineer is asking to authorize the advertising. Brubaker Creek Road and also on Reinhardt Road. Road replacement.
So moved.
Second,
Commissioner Banks,
yes,
Commissioner Farrell.
Yes.
other business to become,
I do have one other item. It's a request from the Richland County Agricultural Society, or the fairgrounds, as you would want to call it. They had some roof work done, the nature building. They are requesting, obviously, because they came in a little under budget on the other roof projects and projects we approved ARPA for. They're requesting that we approve those. It's three different companies for, it's a nature park roof. It's a metal exteriors, Zimmerman's, and the second one is also Zimmerman's. Mr. Schaub and I came up with different math. He's smarter than me, so he may be right. I show the total is 4742.81. He says it's 0.82. I don't believe that to be the case, because if you look at 746 and an even number and then 5, that comes to 1. So Stacy, if you could just double check that, but I'll make a motion that we approve that capital projects out of our capital projects fund, which is Fund 100, which we know is the Richland Reinvestment Fund. We have made it clear to the fairgrounds, though, that there is a process that moving forward, we have a lease with the fairgrounds. We lease that property, meaning the taxpayers of Richland County, to the Ag Society for $1. In return, they are to take over and assume the management, control, and maintenance of the property. So I said, moving forward, if there is a request outside the language of the lease, they need to come before the board and make a formal request. Since Andrew and I did talk to a couple members of the fairgrounds today, I said they didn't have to come in, and I would make a motion for approval. So I will do that at this time.
second,
Am I paying the fairgrounds or those companies?
I would get with Jim Schaub on the best way to do that. I would probably say those companies.
Commissioner Banks,
yes.
Commissioner Farrell.
Yes.
Any questions from the media? Hearing none.
Yeah, are you planning to take any action after the 10 a.m. executive sessions today?
Yes, 2 pieces of action.
Thank you.
9:53.
I had a couple questions.
You go right ahead, Al.
Carl and I stepped over each other. The bridge projects, do you have any cost estimates?
No.
At the bottom of the ad.
Yes, the estimated construction cost is $442,891
For which bridge?
for the Reinhardt Bridge. Tony, do you have the other one?
Right there, okay.
Yeah, hold on.
The Brubaker is 543, 517.00.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
9:54, and we will stand in recess and come back at 10 o'clock for an executive session. Gotta wait for you. It is 10 o'clock and I would entertain a motion that we go into executive session for the purpose of what would it be?
It's on your agenda. The consideration of dismissal of a public employee or official.
For consideration of dismissal of a public board member.
Public employee or official, and I will make that motion.
Second,
Commissioner Banks,
yes.
Rivera.
Yes. You know, you're gonna have some. We want to give you guys the information as best as we can.
Okay.
That makes sense? Okay.
It is 10:57 and the Richland County Board of Commissioners are coming out of executive session. And we are going to accept the resignation of JD Walks from the Richland County Mental Health Board. And we will be replacing him shortly.
That's correct. Yesterday I received an email from Mr. Walks resigning immediately from the Richland County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board. We will be providing to the media because I'm sure you guys were asking for it or will ask for it. That email chain with myself, Mr. Walks, and our county administrator, Andrew Keller. And we will also be providing the accompanying documents we provided to Mr. Walks in those communications. So with that being said, I at this time will make a motion that we accept the resignation of Mr. Jay Walks from the Richland County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board.
And I will second that motion.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes,
Rivera.
Yes.
okay.
Tony, was this a paid position? And if you can give some details as to the resignation, what is the bound?
It was not a paid position. I think the emails and documents will reflect the concerns that the Richland County Commissioner's Office had with respect to Mr. Walks serving as a Richland County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board member, presenting him with the information that was provided to our office. He immediately resigned.
I know we're going to go through those documents, but can you give some details as to what they represent?
I think those documents represent concerns the public has or had with respect to Mr. Walks's duties on the Mental Health Board and Mr. Walks personally, financially benefiting from his service on the Richland County Mental Health Board.
Are you, how will you be replacing his position? Do you have candidates or is that something that the commissioners will appoint?
We will appoint someone and probably in the very near future.
And I guess Ms. Thompson was here at for the executive session. Does she represent the interest of the board? Is she the president or the president of the board?
We thought she was the chairperson, but found out she was not. And
Who is the chairperson of the board?
Susan B. Miller. And we will be talking with her soon to make the rest of the board aware of what they should be aware of.
I guess were they caught by surprise to this revelation, or was this something?
I think that's a question for them.
All I got.
Carl, you have any questions?
Oh, always got questions. When was Jay appointed to the board and when is his resignation effective?
The resignation is effective as of right now. And he was appointed,
Pull that up, Carl. Give me a second. He was appointed upon recommendation from the current Mental Health and Recovery Services Director. And one second. Yeah. Jay was appointed on July 1st of 2021. His term was supposed to end on June 30th of 2025.
Okay, and I'll be happy to look at the email chain and the documents, but did commissioners ask for his resignation? Or how was it put to him?
We were absolutely going to ask for his resignation had he not resigned. But there is a process and a professional courtesy that needs to take place. So we wanted to afford Mr. Wachs the opportunity to see what was provided to our office. And then we were going to ask for his resignation, whether he was willing to submit it or not.
Okay, and the current mental health director, Joe Trollian, has he been contacted about this? Was he consulted at all, or what's that status?
He was aware of it within a few minutes of Jay resigning.
Yeah, we believe that Mr. Wachs contacted Mr. Trollian.
Tony, you had mentioned something to the effect that Jay was personally benefiting financially from service on the mental health board. Can you better characterize that? How does that work? And I'll just stop the question there. How would you characterize that?
We believe the documents we provide to you will clearly show Mr. Wachs was personally and financially benefiting as a member of the Richland County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board member.
This seems like a fairly unusual step. Can either of you recall the last time a appointee of the Board of County Commissioners was basically resigned almost at the request of commissioners, or can you remember a similar circumstance in your tenure on the board?
I do not.
We appointed many board members, as you know, Carl. We either sit on or appoint to 44 boards. This is the first out of all those appointments that we have uncovered issues pertaining to membership. So Mr. Wachs's actions certainly seem to be the rare exception as opposed to the norm.
And when you talk about financially benefiting, is there a dollar amount you've been able to assign to this? And is this something that an auditor might go for in terms of financial recovery, or is it not recoverable?
We have referred that specific question that you're asking to law enforcement.
And do you have a dollar amount in that you've been able to ascertain?
The documents will certainly reflect a dollar amount, Carl. I'm purposely not giving a specific dollar amount because that would be contingent upon, again, referencing this matter to law enforcement.
Okay. Do you have an ETA on the documents? Is it coming as soon as your meeting is done here, or?
I got called into Rotary today. As you can see, it's a very busy day. You will certainly have them by the end of today, but you might not have them instantaneously. We have representatives from CCAO, but I'll have to leave probably at about 11:20 to get to Rotary. They asked me to fill in and be a speaker today.
Well, I think I will probably see you at Rotary then.
Lucky me.
Al, did you have any question?
Yeah, was this an issue you had been dealing with? Because you've had a number of executive sessions regarding, dismissal of public official recently.
It was brought to our office attention that there could be some issues relating to the Richland County Mental Health and Recovery Services Boards, some of their actions. And that set the wheels in motion to communicate with the necessary public actors, including law enforcement, to review the matter.
So in other words, this has been an ongoing, for lack of a better description, investigation for at least a little bit of time.
I mean, it certainly takes time to compile the documents. It took other public offices to assist with the accumulation of those documents. And then obviously we needed to sit down. There are mandatory reporting duties. We do everything as best we can and properly in this office. And so we went about doing what we should as mandated by Ohio law and referring the matter to the appropriate parties.
Okay, one question that wasn't asked. Was Joe Trollian made aware of the investigation, or was the resignation the first indication he had that there was some kind of problem?
We did not inform Mr. Trollian of the investigation, but looking at the timing of emails we received, it appears Mr. Wachs, upon resignation, contacted Mr. Trollian.
Tony, you mentioned that. Go ahead, Al.
Any indication that, Joe knew about any of this or had any kind of suspicion prior to this? I'm asking these questions blind because we don't have the background, so.
I believe from the documents we provide to you, you will see that at least Mr. Trollian's name does appear in some of the documents we'll provide to you today. I'm being very careful and not to speak for Mr. Trollian. You can obviously talk to him. But yes, Mr. Trollian's name does appear along with Mr. Wachs's name on some of the documents we'll provide to you today.
Okay, I think that's all I had.
Thank you.
Will you mentioned some type of investigation by law enforcement. Will that extend beyond Mr. Wachs?
I don't think I can answer that question because I don't know. It would depend on what the investigation finds. So again, I'm not trying not to answer your question. I'm just not the law enforcement arm that will be doing that investigation.
And who is being assigned that? Is that a city police department? Is that county jurisdiction, state?
It's turned over to the appropriate authorities. Okay.
Since this one just came up, Tony, since Jay notified Joe about his resignation, have either of you spoken to Joe since that notification was made? And if so, what was his reaction?
Just email communications, which I'll provide because it all relates to yesterday's correspondence.
Okay, thank you.
All right. We are going to hear from a CCAO presentation on the life and supplemental insurance program. So.
Staying or
I'm gonna leave it. I have to leave in about 10 minutes.
as you know,
John, introduce yourself and
Give it to them.
John Light, Assistant Director of the County Commissioners Association. On behalf of our new program, County Benefits Plus, and Andrew
Lowen with Aflac. Lowen, yes.
As you are aware, we've established a new program at the Commissioners Association, County Benefits Plus. It's designed to help counties provide supplemental benefits availability to county employees at what we think are very good premium rates, probably 20 to 30% below what you could get through a normal process, a normal contract for a supplemental benefit, employee paid benefit. We started out with discussions about workforce development, and what we've heard across the board from our counties is recruitment and retention of county employees is an important issue. And we looked at this program as a way to help support our counties in recruitment and retention of county employees by bringing a new program of supplemental benefits made available to our counties. We worked with NACO and their Public Promise Insurance Agency. We built our program, took it to NACO, and they have helped us from the standpoint of finding our vendors for the program. We have basically put our program out to bid for on a national level across all the major insurance carriers. Got responses back, ended up choosing to interview 2 vendors, and Aflac was selected. Our staff, commissioner staff, spent a day interviewing both of the 2 finalist candidates, and we selected Aflac as our product vendor. What the biggest thing is we bring to the table is the opportunity to have a statewide underwritten marketing arrangement where for our life insurance products, there won't be any medical exam or medical questionnaire in our group programs. And also then we have the opportunity to bring in supplemental products in the health area. We also have pet insurance and ID theft insurance, and we're working on a couple other things. But in essence, to offer those products at reduced premium pricing simply because we have the statewide network. So we have been working with Rachel and her staff, and we are here today. I think all the whatever you want to say, Rachel.
Myself and I, yes.
Me, myself, and I. Oh, well, Rachel, okay, good.
So what I just gave just a couple of little synopsis of why I was very interested in this program. First of all, it would save a little bit of money. It's not a big amount, but for general fund, we're looking at 16.77%, which annually would be about $1,668 for the general fund, because we'd be going from $2.40 per employee per month to $2 rate. This is a 1-year contract with, I believe, 2 1-year renewals. And so if we do go with this contract, we're only locked in for the one year, or if, we're very satisfied, then we can go on with 2 additional years. One of the things I was very interested in is that CCAO would be our liaison if we have any issues with Aflac. We have never had that with any of our life insurance. I've always been the liaison, and I've always fought, and I've always tried to figure out who our representative was when they would just disappear and we never found out. So it's always been in my lap. So that was I'm not going to say it sold me, but it made my ears perk up at that point in time, because that can be very tedious when you're trying to deal with a problem and you have no clue who to talk to. One of the things I did like was the on-site counselors. They are very knowledgeable with our current insurance program through SEPCO. Our employees aren't. I don't care how much you educate them, they still don't have a clue. And so when they come in to the meeting with Aflac, the representatives, they will actually have the information. Employees then can ask questions. They'll be able to answer those questions. We've never had that again. It's always been call Rachel, figure it out. And then I am trying to sell insurance or just at least guiding employees. That's, again, a lot of work. If I'm not available, they call the auditor's office or vice versa. So we all end up dipping our hands in life insurance where we probably shouldn't be as involved. We'd still be involved though, to a certain extent. Reports, we would be the keeper of the records for the beneficiaries. Of course, the auditor's office with the benefits, with the deductions, I'm sorry. But with this plan, and this is the first time we've been offered something like this, it would be digital, and we've never had digital. So it's a lot of paperwork passing through their office, my office, making sure everybody gets everything done. The employees will be online, actually enrolling, which then we are not begging them to, we are not begging them to get the paperwork. I'm telling you, because it's a lot of paperwork. And especially during open enrollment, it's very overwhelming. But one of the most important things is what I was talking to Laura about. And I think this will hurt on it is that with the elections and the billing, the CB Plus program was what they're calling it. It would work with the auditor's office to set up the payroll deductions. That could save a lot of time, and especially if it's in an Excel spreadsheet, because then they can pull it and import it into Munis. There's a lot of finger typing that can be prevented during a time, and especially this year with SEPCO, our enrollment time is very short window, and they are going to be busting out a lot of information within very short.
So certainly, and again, my time's short, so I'm gonna ask a couple questions before I have to get going. Certainly want to offer benefit plans that are good to our employees and obviously cost beneficial to the taxpayers. Have we reached out to any local insurance agencies to see how they can match this? Yeah, I think a couple off my head. There's some good ones in Shelby. We got good ones locally, you know, Roby Foster, Eric, Reinhardt. We can go down the list with local partners. Have we shopped around these policies?
We have shopped around in the past. We did not this time. And what we have found, and Kelly's been doing this as well, is that if we want a local, then we have to give them a lot. So we would have to give them not only our life, our flex, our dental. They want a big package to be able to give us the pricing. And the pricing, even at that time, was not even comparable to this. I have not shopped around because the moment you start shopping around, it's nonstop. It's like a shark feeding frenzy. And
Doesn't that get us competition?
it absolutely does. And that's what the direction that I wanted to know from the commissioners is if you would like me to open those doors, I absolutely will. I have not had great success, but I am absolutely willing to and get the information and see what they're bringing back.
Well, we certainly, you know, these are public records. We certainly have the documents to say this is what's on the table potentially. And then my next question, John, you and I have talked about this, full disclosure. Not a big fan of NACO. We are not NACO members. I'll never say never, but as long as I'm a commissioner, I don't see us. I won't be someone who wants to be affiliated with NACO. What is their involvement in this process?
Their involvement is they're like our global marketing entity. They're the ones who have the ability to reach out nationally to touch all of the major insurance carriers. So they basically have helped us identify the best insurance carrier for what we want to do through County Benefits Plus. So they are also helping us with put paperwork together and all that in the contracts. The contracts will be not with County Benefits Plus, but the contracts will be with the insurance carrier, which is Aflac.
So is NACO involved in this process?
Do we have to be members?
You have to be members. Do they get
They
any
take a,
dollars for this?
They're obviously getting overhead costs, but you know, that all comes out of, you know, the premiums, and the premiums
So
are
they do get a
sitting below. Yeah, just like we're getting a financial share.
We like you guys. So
Well, I mean, we couldn't get it without their help putting us together. So.
And that is normal practice. I don't care if we are with, like, currently Hummel Group helped us with Sun Life, they get the overhead, or if it's Joe Smith down the road, that is. This is. Yes.
I think Andrew, is as an Aflac agent, his agents aren't even able to offer the program we're offering through Aflac because we have a unique contractual arrangement with Aflac for the service.
That is correct.
So that means that this is a special program for County Commissioners Association, not for the company down the road. They're not going to be offered this exact same program.
Well, and part of the reason that we're doing this is we are having discussions with SEPCO and the things that SEPCO does, and SEPCO could bring this program in, but they would bring it into the SEPCO counties. By having County Benefits Plus, basically that allows us to reach all 88 counties without a SEPCO core benefit restriction. So Mike Kendall has been involved since day one in all of the discussions with putting this together. And Mike and the Sebco team, support what we're doing. We're also looking at potentially picking up dental and vision sometime in 24. We're just getting started now with the supplemental health benefits and then the pet insurance and ID protection.
So I will reach out to some local insurance agents, groups and see what they could potentially offer us. And then I will come back to you with that information.
She said she would reach out to some of the locals and come back.
Perfect.
Yes.
Great. Sounds good.
And we kept it within just a few minutes.
Thank you.
It is, any questions from Al or Carl? Hearing none, and hearing that there's no other business, at 11:22, we stand adjourned.